An insider has dropped a bombshell new Rangers report as not only one, but two of the Rangers' best young players will be offer sheeted this summer. And this changes everything for the Rangers and their plan heading into next season. We're going to break down who these players are and the implications it has on the team moving forward. And not just the team and the roster, but the salary cap. We're going to break it all down in this episode of Rangers Digest. But before we do that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 74% of you who watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. So if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening with the New York Rangers, this is the place to be for all your daily New York Rangers coverage. And again, go down below, hit that free subscribe button, and you get to stay up to date with everything that's happening with the New York Rangers. But let's dive right into it. New reports from a couple insiders, including Larry Brooks, have suggested that Will Cuylle and Matt Rempe will be offer sheeted this summer, and it could get pretty ugly for the New York Rangers. And the reason why is because there's new compensation or a new compensation structure on offer sheets this summer, and that makes things a lot more complicated for not just the Rangers, but a lot of other teams. And as you can see here from Ryan Hall, a trusted NHL reporter, shockingly leaks that the New York Rangers' top priority this offseason is to get a contract done with Will Cuylle. And the reason this is a top priority is because it looks like if Will Cuylle slips through the cracks here of not getting signed by a certain date, obviously an internal date, he will be offer sheeted, and that could be trouble for the New York Rangers. So Remy Mastery is reporting that the New York Rangers' number one priority right now is to sign Will Cuylle to stave off, an offer sheet. And Cuylle also, by the way, is playing overseas for Team Canada right now in the World Championships, and he's playing fantastic. So they need to sign this player. If they lose Will Cuylle, I will be genuinely disappointed in this organization, because he had a career year this year. He's only going to get better. He's a physical force. This is exactly what you want on the team moving forward. And if you lose him, that would be a disaster. And we saw it last year with the Edmonton Oilers. They lost, and I know the Oilers are doing good, but they literally single-handedly let the St. Louis Blues get good again and make the playoffs this year by letting Broberg and Holloway walk, essentially, with an offer sheet. And obviously they got some compensation back for that, but you no longer have those players, and those are really good young players that will be key pieces for that St. Louis Blues team and could have been key pieces for that Edmonton Oilers team as well. But again, Oilers are doing fine, but you don't want to end up in this situation. Now, Will Cuylle, we know, and we're going to get to Matt Rempe in a second, trust me. We know he's a great player, and he's a part of the future. Second round, 60th overall pick, obviously, in 2020, just a couple years ago. He's 6'3", over 220 pounds at this point. He's a physical force. We saw when JT Miller came over, he brought a new physical element to his game. This is a guy I don't think you can afford to lose. He had a career year in 82 games, playing all 82 games with 20 goals and 25 assists. He had 45 points. He had as many points as Alexis Lafreniere this year, by the way, so do with that what you will. But again, he was only playing roughly 15 minutes, and yes, he shared some time on the top line and the second line at times this season, but for the most part was playing on the third line. So you can't let this player slip. And again, this is from Larry Brooks. That was from Remy Mastery before. Larry Brooks is saying that Matt Rempe will also become the Blue Shirts' biggest offer sheet target when he hits Group 2 free agency on July 1st. Will Cuylle is also moving in that vulnerable territory. So it looks like they have to figure out what they want to do with these two before July 1st, because obviously then the offer sheets will be flying. They are RFAs, so theoretically, if it was any other year, because a lot of people are pegging this as the year of the offer sheet, right? If this was any other year and the compensation for offer sheets was a little bit different, you wouldn't worry too much. They're RFAs, they're restricted, you have control, team control. You wouldn't have to worry about them on July 1st, but now they do. Now you do, and you cannot lose either of these players, I don't think. And they're not going to command $5 million each. I mean, Will Cuylle actually might get a significant raise, but Matt Rempe isn't going to get $5 million. So find a way to get these guys signed. Then you figure out what you want to do with K'Andre Miller and how to rebuild the defense, because they still have about $8 million in cap space right now. And if you move off a guy like Chris Kreider, then things get very interesting with the salary cap. You have a lot more space. So that's going to be interesting. I do agree with Adam here that any team that would offer sheet Matt Rempe over Will Cuylle needs to fire everybody, by the way. So I don't know if that's necessarily what Larry Brooks was referring to, but I could see what he's trying to say. But Will Cuylle is definitely the better player of the two. Let's make no mistake. But Matt Rempe plays a role, and he played it well for the second half of the season for the New York Rangers. Now, this is from NYR Louis, and a lot of people are sharing the sentiment. I don't agree with this. And basically what he says is, If someone offer sheets in between, and this is Will Cuylle, 2.3 million and 4.6 million, the Rangers will get a second round pick and compensation. And in brackets, he says, would be worth it. If they offer sheet less than 2 million, you just match it if you really want. There's no downside to this. There is downside to this. If somebody offer sheets Will Cuylle for 2.3, between 2.3 million and 4.6, which is exactly what he's going to get, by the way. I mean, I'm finding it hard to believe that a guy just signed for over $7 million and had as many points as Will Cuylle. And this guy's going to get less than $2 million. So I'm thinking it's going to be in that range. You don't want to let Will Cuylle, a guy who just had a career year, who's a physical force, has experience in the NHL, walk for a second rounder at this point. That's not good asset management. I don't think you want to do that. He was a second rounder in the past, but he's going to be a key piece of this team moving forward. I love Will Cuylle. Some bias, of course. If you look over to my left shoulder over here, I literally bought a Will Cuylle jersey. I have Will Cuylle's jersey on my wall behind me. I love him that much. I think he's a big part of this team, and I just love the way he plays. So obviously there's a little bit of bias there. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you think that you'd be okay with letting Will Cuylle walk in an offer sheet if you got a second round pick in return. And again, if it's less than 2 million, absolutely, you match it 100%. Less than 2 million for Will Cuylle, especially with the cap rising, is a great deal. Now, I think he's going to get in that range. So if somebody does offer sheet and you only get a second for him, that's tough. Like, what are you going to do with that second? Do you flip it from someone else? I'd rather keep Will Cuylle. You have to sign Will Cuylle. I mean, there's no other option at this point. And this is the comp levels for offer sheets this summer. So as you can see here, a third round pick, and you would probably match it for Will Cuylle if it was under $2 million. Again, that range at 2.3 to 4.6 is a second round pick. If it's anything more than that, you get a first and a third. And then, of course, it gets a little bit crazy with a first, second, third, and two firsts, a second, and a third. And, of course, an offer sheet for 11.7 or more is a 4 first, which is not going to happen. I don't see anyone getting offer sheeted for more than $11.7 million, but he's probably in that range. I would say he's in that 2.3 to $4.6 million range, because ideally you want to sign him to a somewhat long-term deal. And of course, with the cap going up, you can give him a little bit more money and it'll age very nicely. So I think he's in that range, probably upwards of $4.7 million. So we'll see what they end up doing. If you take a look at his stats this season, Will Cuylle, of course, he's not even 24 years old yet. Had a career year, 20 goals, 25 assists, 45 points. He had as many points essentially as Alexis Lafreniere while playing on the third line for the majority of the year. This is a guy that doesn't get any power play time either, or many special teams time. So was averaging about 15 minutes. He did get some time on the top line towards the end of the season, or higher in the lineup, in the top 6, I should say, because they kept shuffling around the lines. But this is a player who's going to be a key piece of this organization moving forward. And like NYR Louis saying as well, if someone offer sheets Matt Rempe $1.6 million, what would you prefer, to match it or take the third? I think you match it. You know what you have in Matt Rempe. I think you want to match these things. 1.6 is steep, but you know what Matt Rempe brings to the lineup. And it's something very specific. So I think you want to keep some of these players. Again, I think I'd be more open to like an Adam Edstrom. If someone wanted to offer sheet him for the same, I'd be okay with letting him go. But Will Cuylle, I think, is a big part of your team. He's still young. I think Matt Rempe is, he plays a role. He plays it well. You want to keep, some of these guys on the team. So let me know what you think in the comments about that. I think it's going to be an interesting offseason in terms of offer sheets league-wide. But I think if you are the Rangers, get these contracts signed. Don't let them get to the offer sheet, time. Don't let that happen. Get these guys locked up, because they're going to be big parts of your team moving forward. I say a big part, but Rempe plays a role, and Will Cuylle had a career year, and he's a physical force. Keep that player on your team. What are you going to do with a second-round pick? Not much. So let me know what you think in the comments, and if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything New York Rangers.